I've always had a soft spot for the coughing line, but I've never had one on my team, so I am very excited to challenge run this line. In the last run, of course, we started as a dual grass and poison type and then lost the poison type midway through the run. But this time we're going pure poison all the way. And inevitably there are going to be comparisons with Muck. We ran that on the channel around about a year ago now, so I will be keeping an eye out on the end of the leaderboard for that mini competition between Muck, Weezing and eventually Arbuck as well. And now, as we're picking our starter, I just want to say we're a few videos into this batch of runs, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you like what you're seeing, please do consider it because it really will help out. But now let's look at our stats. We are level 5 with 19 HP, we're holding a berry and our moves are Poison, Gas and Tackle. We've got 12 in attack, 15 in defense, 11 in special attack, 9 in special defense and just 8 in speed. So we can hit quite hard, but we really aren't that fast at all. That low HP stat also concerns me for early on in game. I, however, have no concerns at all against our first wild battle. This level 3 Pidgey goes away in 3 shots, and we can take on the first rival battle. In this instance, I decided to give the rival the Cyndaquil line. That gives him access to moves like Smokescreen later on in game, and I think that will prove to be the biggest challenge for the coughing line. The first battle, of course, was relatively easy, we got through in a few shots, and now here comes the first big test for coughing. Falkner might be a flying type specialist, but he has Mud Slap as his signature move, and Mud Slap will lower our accuracy every time we're hit with it. We managed to just get one Mud Slap from the Pidgey, but that is enough combined with Smog's low accuracy to make it very difficult to hit the Pidgeotto. We're already down to 12 HP when we finally get a poison off. We swap to Tackle because it's got higher accuracy and thank goodness it hit. We survive on 2 to get our first badge in a time of 9 minutes and 39 seconds. Let's now move on to Azalea Town where Bugsy is waiting for us. Bugsy is of course the bug type specialist and he will lead with Metapod. Now we have the type resistance to the bug type and I did quite a bit of grinding in the Ilex Forest in preparation for this and the next battle. So at level 22 that means we have Sludge and that makes this battle go by very easily. We survive on 48 HP to earn the Hive badge in 24 minutes and 27 seconds. It was definitely a bit of early game time loss there to hopefully prevent later game time loss. Let's see if that has worked against the second rival battle. This is one of the trickiest battles for a poison type because 2 of his 3 Pokemon are poison as well, so they're going to resist your stab moves. It also doesn't help when you get confused by the Zubat, but we're on 41 HP for the Quilava. Ember burns on turn 1 in a stroke of terrible luck. We also cannot land a shot off and we have to take a reset. That was some of the worst luck I've seen in a very long time in Rival 2. In fact, I'd even say it eclipses the bad luck we had in the Rattata run. We took a couple of resets here and we're back onto the Zubat. We get confused once more and this time we're only on 27 HP for the Quilava. We don't get burnt on turn 1, but he still manages to spite us with a burn on turn 2, but it's altogether too late and we're through the second rival battle in about 25 minutes and 50 seconds. We've learnt Rollout in preparation for Whitney's gym, but it's really only on the learn set to taunt her. We're going to be sludging away because that's going to be a far quicker KO, especially when we get some poison to take a 3-shot into a 2-shot, and before I've started commentating this battle, it's already finished. Playing badge in a time of 32 minutes and 58 seconds. Goodness me, coughing is doing a lot better than I thought at this point of the run. Let's see if we can keep it up now against the third rival battle. We have already been to the Lake of Rage at this point to pick ourselves up Hidden Power Fire, and that's exactly what we need for that Magnemite. It gets knocked out in a single hit, and here we have the option to learn Haze. Now if this was our level 45 move, I probably would have picked it up. But because it was so early on in the learn set, I couldn't justify losing one of our big moves for it. And just as well really, because we've defeated the rival and we can move on to Birdkeeper Toby. Now we are level 34 at the moment and at level 35 we're going to evolve into Weezing. I decided to do this battle before taking on Morty because I don't want to take any chances at all with Dream Eater. So it's goodbye to coughing and hello to Weezing, and we can move on into Ecruteak Gym where Morty has very kindly waited for us to evolve. He is of course the Ghost and Poison type specialist who leads with Ghastly. We're going to be using Hidden Power as our main move here because it's neutral and it's the only neutral move barring Rollout, and honestly Rollout would probably harm us. We didn't need to worry about Dream Eater in the end, he just looked at us funny with the Gengar. The Haunter goes down in one shot as well, and we are through Morty in a time of 44 minutes and 54 seconds. Let's cross the seas over to Signwood City where Chuck is waiting for us. He is the fighting type specialist who leads with Primeape. Sludge does a huge chunk of damage, but the poison isn't quite enough to one-shot it, and here comes the Poliwrath. It's looking like it's going to be 3 shots unless we get a lucky poison, which we don't, but still we took very little damage there to obtain the Storm Badge in 47 minutes and 7 seconds. Our next gym leader in the gauntlet is Price. He is in Mahogany Gym and he's an Ice type specialist. Now his ace Pokemon is the Ground type, so we're going to have to think a little bit about that, and by think a little bit about that I mean swap to Hidden Power Fire because it's super effective. 3 one-shots for Price, he's as much of a pushover as Janine, you know. Let's now move on to Jasmine, the other gym leader beginning with J, and she's not going to be an issue at all for coughing. We've got Hidden Power Fire, she's got 3 very meltable Pokemon, so I'm sure you can fill in the blanks. It's one shot on the 2 Magnemites. Here comes the Steelix with all its lack of special defense. It's another one shot. We grow to 41, and we are through Jasmine in a time of 55 minutes and 24 seconds. For those of you interested in the comparisons with Muck, we're currently running about a minute slower, but let's see if we can catch up now against Rival 4. We're going to start off with a return against his Golbats. We grow to level 44 and have the option to learn Boom. We decide against it because that really would defeat the purpose of a challenge run, wouldn't it? We melt the Magnemite and we are on a 2 Haunter. We use Hidden Power against the Haunter, but it's a range. Unfortunately, we took a little bit of a Spadef drop there, but I don't think it'll matter for the rest of the battle. We've only got 1 Pokemon left. It's Quilava that's going to be going down in a single Sludge Bomb. And we have defeated the 4th rival battle in a time of 1 hour, 1 minute and 28 seconds. Let's see what Claire has for us. Now, I did have a choice between Hidden Power Fire and Hidden Power Ice in this run, and I decided to go with Hidden Power Fire because we really had nothing for the Steel types. That meant we don't have the Ice type moves for Claire. It didn't matter in the end though, because we were able to easily take care of all of her Pokemon with Sludge Bomb and return, and we get her badge in a time of 1 hour, 8 minutes and 17 seconds. We have the final rival battle left to go now. This is here in the Indigo Plateau, and he's going to lead this time with Sneasel Pleasel. Sneasel's going to be no issue, it's got paper thin defences, so it goes away straight away. And here comes Kadabra. We outspeed the Kadabra, so it's a simple one-shot with Sludge Bomb, and then we carry on Sludge Bombing the Golbat. I meant to switch on to Return, but I clicked a little bit too quickly. It didn't matter in the end though, because we didn't get statused. We melt the Magneton this time, and we're back onto the Haunter. We use Hidden Power Fire against the Haunter, and his final Pokemon is Typhlosion. It's a quick hello and goodbye from Typhlosion as we critical hit it and grow to level 54, and we say goodbye to the rival for yet another run. And with that, we're at the Pokemon League. We'll heal up our Weezing and the rest of the party whether we need it or not, and we'll say thank you to the HM friends. So it's thank you to Kenya, to Abra, to Psyduck, and merci to Paris. They'll all be having a lovely rest in the Costed LPC box. In the meantime, we're going to get our 4 full restores whether we need them or not, and we'll take a look at our stats going into the league. We are level 54 with 157 HP. We are holding the Scamulet coin with Sludge Bomb, Hidden Power Fire, Rollout and Return. We have 142 in attack, 170 in defense, 137 in special attack, 121 in special defense, and 105 in speed. There, of course, the out of battle stats. The in battle stats will be significantly higher, and we'll see them against our first league member, which is Will. Now, we have the type disadvantage to Will, so this could be a little bit tricky, but fortunately for us, most of his Pokemon don't really have anything great in the defensive department. Slowbro's probably the bulkiest of all of his 5 Pokemon, and it swears at us. Fortunately for us, it was still a 2-shot range, and we are on to the second Xatu. The final Pokemon is Exeggutor, that's weak to poison, you know the rest, it goes down in a single hit, and we're through Will in a time of 1 hour, 14 minutes and 25 seconds. Second league member is a poison specialist just like us, it's Koga. Koga, however, doesn't have a Weezing, so he's the less superior of the Poison-type trainers in this battle. We get rid of his Ariados with the greatest of ease, and we're on to the Venomoth. Venomoth had Psychic on its learn set, so I was very glad to knock it out in one shot. We've got Hidden Power Fire for the Fortress, and that melts away, and here comes Muck. This is our pseudo-rival for this battle. So it was very nice to dispose of it in 2 hits, and we are on to the Crobat. I go for Sludge Bomb on turn 1 to make sure he doesn't Healing Loop, but unfortunately for us, Return crit. so I could have got through a turn sooner, but we are through Koga in a time of 1 hour, 15 minutes and 9 seconds, and up next is Bruno. He's the fighting type specialist of the league. He leads with Hitmontop that gets poisoned, and it faints itself underground. Koffing's next, and I will be honest, we don't have anything fantastic for Koffing, so we're just going to spam the hidden power. A lucky critical hit saves the day as we are on to Hitmonlee. Now this Sandstorm is being a little bit of a pest for us, but it is also making some of these ranges much more consistent. Something like the Hitmonchan probably would have survived otherwise, so we're using the Sandstorm to our advantage. We particularly see it with the Machamp here, because the combination of Sandstorm, Poison and Sludge Bomb is what knocked it out in a single turn. We're through Bruno in 116, let's move on to Karen. Karen can be the bane of many a challenge run. Let's see how we get on here. Sand attack fails and we poison the Scumbrion, so we're off to a very good start, and here comes Vileplume. I was umming and ahhing between Hidden Power Fire and Sludge Bomb because both would have been much of a muchness, and in the end I settled on Sludge Bomb. Her Stun Spore failed, which made this a lot easier for us, and then the Gengar went down a lot easier than I thought as well. Murkrow's got no defense, so it goes down straight away, and that just leaves Houndoom. Houndoom I thought would be a little bit bulkier, but once again we one-shot it and we are through Karen in a time of 1 hour, 16 minutes and 44 seconds. There's only one thing between us and the Hall of Fame now, it's Lance the Liar with the Flyers, and he leads with Gyarados. Now this battle is the entire reason we have rollouts on the learn set. We're going to try and take care of these two Dragonites in one shot each. Rollout number 3 was good enough for Dragonite number 1, rollout number 4 was good enough for Dragonite number 2. We get very lucky here as well and hit the Aerodactyl away, and that just leaves 2 Pokemon left to go. This Charizard is 4 times weak to rollout, so 2 rollouts is enough to knock it out, and now with rollout's power building, we hit for the final time, we take care of Dragonite in one shot, and we are the league champions in a time of 1 hour, 17 minutes and 42 seconds. And with a final league time of 1 hour, 17 minutes and 58 seconds, we are now about 5 minutes ahead of Muck. That's the first half of the run done though, we've still got another half left to go, so don't you dare go anywhere, Kanto is next. And we rejoin here in Vermilion City, which is home of our first rare candy in Kanto. Because of course the first thing we do in Kanto is the last thing we do in Johto. We're getting another rare candy, this time from the chairman of the Pokemon fan club. And then it's a quick surf across the fence to go into our first Kantonian gym together. This is Lieutenant Surge. He's an electric type specialist who leads with Raichu. We've had one change on the learn set since we defeated the Elite Four. We now have Flamethrower in place of Hidden Power Fire. That's going to be a nice buff to our fire type moves, and we'll see it here against the Magneton. It was going to be an easy one shot with Hidden Power Fire, but that Flamethrower made even lighter work of it. And now as we're going through the Kantonian Gym Leader Gauntlet, I want to pull back that curtain yet again and talk more about the process of making videos here on the channel. So as it's pretty obvious, I'm a single person operation. I don't have an editor, I don't have anybody doing the thumbnails, I definitely don't have anybody doing the gameplay for me. If that was the case, then I'm sure it would be infinitely better. So I'm just doing it all on my own, and what I have found is recording in bulk definitely helps. A lot of these runs we're seeing now were actually recorded a long time ago. These were the ones that should have been out at the start of the year, but then when my health deteriorated, I was unable to do the edits and voiceovers, so they just sat there waiting for the right time. This is actually the penultimate run in that batch of recordings. We've got Kingdra coming out next time, and then at the start of September we've got a Granbull run that was recorded about a year ago now. So those were the recordings I had left. And starting after Kingdra, we're going to be getting the runs that have been recorded in the summer this year. Now, one thing I am doing very differently is I have edited all of these runs down in bulk. We're talking about 15-16 runs at a time that are getting edited and voiced pretty much in batches. So what I'm hoping that will mean is if I fall ill again, I'll always have a backlog of videos for at least a month or two to keep us going by, so that when I am recovered, there will be no missing content. And I'm really enjoying doing this so far. It's been the most fun I've had with the channel since the very beginning when we first got started, and I've really found that these shorter edits have made everything so much more sustainable, because instead of being intimidated by doing a 4 to 5 hour edit followed by a 6 to 7 hour voiceover because I don't script anything, instead it's all condensed into all that matters for each run. So I really hope you're enjoying the shorter of videos, and I really hope that they're not detracting from each of the run's experience. And one other major change to the way things are being done on this channel is all the runs are being put out in the order they were recorded in. Before, what I used to do is I'd chop and change things to try and make the leaderboard a little bit more exciting, but I found that gets very frustrating when you have a few mid-runs in a row which don't really change anything on the leaderboard, and then I was adding pressure to myself to get one of those fantastic runs out of the bag to change the top 3, or if I couldn't change the top 3, at least to the top 10. But now it's just going to be as they happen, so we're going to be experiencing it almost in real time, but the difference is you're getting the condensed version a couple of times a week. And now, with what's seeming to become the standard Kanto chat, we can rejoin the action at Blue. This is our final gym leader together. He, of course, is a mixed type specialist, and he will lead with Pidgeot. We don't have anything fantastic for Pidgeot, so we're just going to sludge bomb it and hope for the best. He uses Mirror Move, which is the best possible outcome there, and it goes down in 2 shots. Alakazam's next, and it sets up a Reflect, and that's probably the worst that could have happened. Psychic also hits us very hard, taking us deep into the yellow as the Alakazam goes down, and here comes Rhydon. Once again, we don't have anything great, and Earthquake knocks us out. We're gonna have to change strategy and hope for something better. Pidgeot uses Wing Attack this time, but it did just about as little as Sludge Bomb. We're back onto full HP for the Alakazam. Reflect goes up once more, and he goes into Recover. But this time we're able to knock it out and remain at full health for the Rhydon. That means that Blue's AI is going to go for Sandstorm, and that is slightly less bad than an Earthquake. He went for Fury Attack for reasons beyond the realms of normal human comprehension, but we're absolutely going to take that because that means we took very little damage from Rhydon whatsoever. We were hoping for a Rain Dance here from Gyarados, but instead he went for Hydro Pump and gets himself in a bit of a healing loop. We then use another Sludge Bomb as the Sandstorm subsides, and I'm very glad he's healing actually, because we are passively healing with the leftovers at the same time. We can finish off Gyarados with Return, and out comes Arcanine. We're going to swap back to Sludge Bomb for the Arcanine, as we know we don't have to worry about any more healing loops. A couple of hits knocks it away, and the final Pokemon is Executor. Executor, unfortunately for him, is weak to Sludge Bomb, so we knock it out in 1. And we obtain the Earth Badge in a time of 1 hour, 35 minutes and 1 second. That's around about 9 minutes ahead of Muck, but Muck had a very clean red battle. I'm not so sure if Weezing will have such an easy ride. We're mainly going to be focusing on the rollout strategies, I reckon. We're going to try with some other strats first to see what can happen, but our first big issue is we're not outspeeding Pikachu. We are a physical attacker. We are slower than Pikachu, and that means that Charm is devastating. On average, because we're holding the leftovers, it means we're going to get a chance to attack every 4 turns. Now we get decimated by Psychic, so we're going up 3 levels and we're going to see what happens this time. Thunder hits us, we hit a Sludge Bomb, so we might as well see the damage from Psychic. We're again going to be slower than Espeon and we get knocked out. That's my cue to use another 3 rare candies. Up to level 72 we go. We're still slower than the Pikachu, 171 is the magic number, our speed is 160. I doubt we're going to be faster than Pikachu for the rest of this run. We still can't tank a Psychic, so up we go another 4 levels. We're at level 76 and our speed is 168. We are just slower than Pikachu, so we're still going to have to Charm Dodge the entire way through. We're healthy enough now though that Espeon sets up a Reflect because it sees the range. That means we get to see what it will be like against the Snorlax and the other Pokemon, and the answer is pretty bad, so we're going to have to go on the grind. Instead of doing Buena's Password, I decided it would be probably easier to just get the levels this way. We're going to first of all try at level 78, having grown to level 68, but I'll be perfectly honest with you, we stood absolutely no chance whatsoever. That 1 level did get us above Pikachu with a few Carbos thrown in there as well, but we still have the issue with Espeon. Psychic hits us like a truck, we can get through the Espeon sometimes, but then it's all over on the Snorlax. So we go back out on the grind and we grow to level 69 against Pokefun Carter's set of 3 Cantonian starters. That was a nice little rhyme, wasn't it? And that combined with the 10 rare candies is meaning we're going to go in at level 79. Hopefully 79 is the magic number for our Weezing. We do now outspeed the Pikachu, so we can get an attack off every single try. But of course, Espeon's Reflect is still going to get in the way. We swap to the Quick Claw now because I think that's going to be better overall, and our plan is to just get through the Espeon. We're on full health for the Snorlax, and that means a couple of Sludge Bombs should hopefully knock it out with the right luck. That's what happens in this instance, and now we can start to roll. We weaken Venusaur as he takes in Sunlight, Solar Beam's barely going to tickle us, and that means we can knock it out with a further 2 rollouts. Rollout is now strong enough for Charizard's Flamethrower, and one of the things about Gen 2's AI is it has a 50-50 chance of a trapping move if you're in rollout. That means Whirlpool barely tickles us, we can finish it off with another rollout, and we are through red in a time of 1 hour 51 minutes and 45 seconds. Goodness me, that was a very, very tricky red battle in the end. Weezing performed well overall, and it's 2 slots higher than Muck on the leaderboard. It pushes Muck down into the page 2 drop zone as we finish in 48th place. In between the Bumhead, Fireduck and Smeargle, I think that's a very, very nice placement. And overall, I would say that is a very fair and accurate result for Weezing. It struggles at the beginning of the game, it definitely struggles at the end of the run, but there's that whole chunk in the middle where Weezing really excels. And so now Blossom is heading up page 3 in 51st place, and poor Shuckle is still at the bottom, and there's no change to page 1. It's still Girafarig in first, Scyther in second, and Ursaring in third. And of course Pinsir is in the page 1 drop zone. But with that, we are done. If you've enjoyed this run, then please do consider subscribing. That way you'll get notified about Kingdra, which is our next run coming up. If you've enjoyed this video, please do remember to leave a like. And if you've got anything to say, leave it in the comments down below. But until next time, I'll say thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon.